Okay, let me give you an example of how Roadie can be tricky, okay? The Roadie Driver app. So let's say you're delivering supplies for Roadie driving around in a vehicle, okay? When you go to that Home Depot or that Walmart or wherever store it is to pick up the supplies, they are to give you a barcoded sticker, okay? Now, I'm gonna show you how tricky it is. I was at a Walmart and the sticker was there. I have to scan the sticker before you can even begin the actual delivery once you've already accepted the gig. Okay. The attendant, the Walmart employee that came out to give me the supplies or the groceries to drop off for Roadie had the sticker stuck on the side of the tote box, which is a blue box that Walmart uses. It has a Walmart logo on the box. You're not to take it. It's for Walmart. But the actual supplies that are inside, that are bagged up in the gray grocery bags, you are to take. Okay? Because that goes to the customer. You can put it in your own bag. You can do whatever you want as long as you drop it off to the customer at their front door. That sticker was on the blue box that has the Walmart logo. So in my mind, I'm just scanning it going, okay, I only have to scan it once and then drop it off. No, you have to scan it twice. So you want to take that sticker and just peel it off and stick it to your jacket or stick it to your hand, stick it to the back of your hand. Or that's a good idea. You know, just stick it somewhere where you can find it. You can stick it right here. You can stick it where the sun doesn't shine, but you're going to have to eventually take a scanned photo of it. And you probably don't want to do that. But you want to stick it somewhere where you can find it. And then hang on to that sticker till the end of the day and then throw it away or whatever, you know. I take all my receipts, I hang on to everything till the end of the day and then I throw it. Even the R app, which I'm working at right now, tells me to disregard many of the receipts because it goes into a system. It goes into a digital system where it's like a digital receipt. But the sticker for Roadie, you want to hang on to physically at least until the very end of the delivery. And then you'll be in good shape. That's for Roadie. But right now we're doing the R app. So why do I call it the R app rather than Runner? Okay. The reason why I'm using initials, and I did that for GBH or Grubhub, the reason why I'm using initials rather than, just tell you Grubhub or tell you, or no, I just said Grubhub, I mean, rather tell you, or just say GBH, right? So the reason I'm using initials is because these apps, these delivery positions, they really are only going to last you for probably at the most 2.5 to 3 years. That goes for any of them, including DoorDash. Who knows about Postmates? I don't even want to talk about them. But DoorDash is really, you're only going to be able to do it for at the most 3 years. At least you're the best DoorDash delivery. Like, you don't make a show about it. You're not posting on Facebook about now. Okay, about Facebook too. I'm going to switch over. Now I could be wrong. There could be people working for DoorDash for 10 years, so I could be wrong. But let me just put it this way, okay? Because right now I'm doing the Roadie, and actually right at this particular moment I'm doing the R app. But I'm also later on, maybe if I want to, I may do some Roadie too, because I haven't done my 5th Roadie delivery. Because you got to do 5 of them before you qualify for instant, and I'm probably gonna give it some time and do another Roadie, and then I'll qualify after 7 days from the first delivery. But you'll understand it when you read the orientation stuff or you sit through the orientation, because they do an orientation. Now about the R app, I won't talk about the R app right now. Okay, about delivery driving. Okay, this is like being a fleet driver. We'll say a fleet driver or a delivery driver. About doing fleet. I include rideshare because I could always do Via if I wanted to. But Via provides their own vehicles, so you don't even have to have a vehicle to do Via. But about fleet, okay? Let me just put it this way. When I was younger, I saw a movie called Taxi Driver with Robert De Niro. I think it's a popular movie. They say it's, one of the best movies ever made, possibly of our century or last 50 years. Or It's the last 6 or 7 years, Taxi Driver. Now, I've seen a lot of great movies. The movie that I seen before I watched Taxi Driver was Hamlet with Laurence Olivier. And I really thought this was a great movie. I'm a big Laurence Olivier fan. And it was black and white, and it, Shakespeare, and it was great. It was greatly done. And I had to watch it for an English class because we were studying Hamlet. Well, I remember going to the Blockbuster, and I remember I like this is back in like the early 90s, like 1990 or 1991. And I was walking around Blockbuster, and I thought to myself, this is kind of cool. I like the idea of walking around a store, choosing a movie, and this was back in VHS. This is when we had VCRs. Choosing a movie where you could watch, and you might get one of the movies. I think back then you could get a total of 3 movies. They increased it to like 5 movies. You could get like, I think 7 movies and take them home and then watch movies. Well, I like the idea of doing that. And so, I was going through Blockbuster, and, I had already rented Hamlet and all this stuff with Laurence Olivier. And all of a sudden I see this guy like in a cab. And it was Robert De Niro wearing sunglasses, and it was called Taxi Driver. And when I put that movie in, I became fixated. I don't even know where I'm going right now. I became fixated on something that I could do. Okay, I don't know if it was Martin Scorsese's brilliance or Martin Scorsese being able to, in a gifted way, tell a story and be very compelling. But with me, I thought, this is something that I possibly, that I could do, And that's why I like the movie so much. It's not because of all the violence and Robert De Niro and all the sexiness with, was it Kathleen? Well, it wasn't Kathleen Turner. Sybil Shepherd. Sybil Shepherd. Sybil Shepherd and the funniness of Albert Brooks and, the ingenious casting of using a young Jodie Foster and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't because of the cast it was because of the fact that it was something I thought I would probably end up doing. Not Travis Bickle. I'm not saying I was trying to become Travis Bickle. No one wants to look up and be Travis Bickle. Travis Bickle's a complete sicko psycho. What he did was wrong. But, because he was a vigilante, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about was I knew it was a doable profession. And a lot of people probably think that, like, I could be a cab driver. I just pull over and pick up people. Well, when you're doing delivery, you're doing that with items. So you're being like a delivery driver, They don't really have a good delivery driver movie that explains the way someone would think or dream. Because Taxi Driver was like a dream, And it made it very kind of seductive, And I heard that De Niro actually went out and got a taxi cab license to do that. But that's why I like it, is because it was doable. It was you could put yourself into that character and understand that character's frame of mind. Here's another thing too. When you're at a Whataburger or something and you're using one of those delivery apps, let's call it the R app. When you're running Whataburger, you're slinging fast food through your car. Okay, like this is Whataburger. You can kind of see it right there. When you're doing that, just go up there and say you have an online order. Okay. And you can also order online if it's place and pay. Because there's 3 types usually. There's place and pay, and there's pickup. There's 2 types on this one. No, there's place and pay, there's pickup, and then, there's fleet. I think there's 4. But there's one you place and pay. There's one you just pick it up. It's already paid for, and you pick it up. And then there's another one they call fleet, which means it goes through a system and you get a little bit more for that. And it's kind of like pick up and pay. Anyway, regardless, when you do that, just tell them you have an online order and just give them the name and they'll give you the food. Now, if they ask for the company, that's whenever they get smart aleck. But don't go up there and say, hi, I work for... Now, you can. I used to do it with Grubhub all the time. I'm like, I'm with Grubhub. I'm picking up blah, blah, blah. You can do that. But sometimes they judge you a little bit. So what I find that's better is just say, I'm picking up an online order. I've got the code. You can show them the app. Because they're not going to memorize what all these apps look for. I mean, they're not going to memorize what all these apps look like, is what I meant to say. They're not going to memorize what all the apps and stuff like that look like when you show them the order. That's why sometimes people will pick up food that doesn't even really belong to them, and then you're like, well, where did my delivery go? Well, someone came in and already picked it up. They don't memorize what it looks like. You can tell them what company that you work for. Like, I work for Grubhub, and I'm picking up this. You can do that. But what I usually do is I say, I'm picking up an online order, and I give them the code. And that code, they should be able to find it, because it'll be under online orders. That way, they'll just think you're a customer, and they'll treat you like a customer. You'll get the food faster, and you'll get out of there. You kind of are disguised as kind of a customer. Now, if you want to show up with a Grubhub cap or a DoorDash shirt, or, you know, the bags and all that stuff, more power to you. That's fine. But they may treat you a little bit different. But if they think you're a customer, you're going to be first in line, and they're going to get you in and out quick. So you're kind of disguised a little bit as a customer. Now, whenever I hand them the card, I usually hand it upside down. So that way they don't have time to look at it. And then they'll ask, oh, you're with Grubhub. And I'm like, yeah, you caught me. You caught me. You know, you're right. But actually, in reality, I don't work for Grubhub anymore. I'm working for the R app. We picked up the Whataburger. We'll be dropping the Whataburger off at your door using the R app, or known as the Runner. And one little kind of side note here about Roadie. I'm kind of going on a tangent a little bit. Sometimes I go on tangents, not all the time, but sometimes. I got this one really good story, though. It's about me getting chased by these rednecks that I thought had an AK-47 in the back of the pickup truck. But I'll save that one for later. Now, the one thing about Roadie that's really cool, okay, that I really like Roadie, it's probably one of the more sophisticated apps. And when you get a delivery, let's say you pick it up at Walmart or Home Depot or something like that, and you tap on Navigate, it is going to allow you to choose from Apple Maps, Google Maps, or Waze. So you can choose from all three, which one. I use Apple Maps because I like the 3D thing, and it's usually pretty exact. It is the only app that I have come across from Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Uber Eats, Postmates. What else have I done? Grubhub. None of them but Roadie allows you within the app, okay, within the app, and the navigation within the app, to choose between all three. Usually they'll jump between Waze and Google Maps. So Roadie is allowing you to also choose Apple Maps, which I think is great. That is great. So I usually just choose Apple Maps because I feel like it's more fun, and it's fun, and I'm not used to using it, and it's cool to be able to choose between all three of those. So I just wanted to make that little note real quick. I'm seeing this guy, his little butthole's gonna let me over. Oh, he is gonna let me over. He's in a truck too. That's pretty cool. You can kind of see him right there. But anyway, so we're gonna drop this off at your door. Step. sometimes there are glitches, and one of the glitch that I can't really explain completely is that Apple, or is it Apple Car? I believe it might be Apple CarPlay. So Apple CarPlay can swallow up some of the sound. The way to check it is to turn on the sound for your phone, so turn on sound, and go ahead and lock the phone and listen for the click. If you have it programmed to do that, most phones are programmed to do that when it comes to Apple. When it clicks like that, then that means that the sound is on and you can hear the app. If you turn off or you lock the phone and it does not make a clicking sound, then that means that Apple CarPlay is swallowing the sound. Now, I just did an experiment just now where I unplugged the actual phone. You can see the phone's unplugged. And you can see here that that's the radio. So I'm not going to be able to hear the phone because the radio is going to be on. It doesn't matter about the volume. Okay, it doesn't matter about the volume. It means that you're only hearing the radio. Okay, you cannot hear your phone at this point because your phone is going through on Bluetooth. Now, when I press this button right here, it's going to disconnect the camera. Okay, now I'm only connected by Bluetooth only, Bluetooth audio only. Whenever I turn my phone off, not power it down, but whenever I lock my phone, you can hear it click. That means I can hear the app. I am connected to Apple CarPlay. And whenever I turn the phone off, or as I say, I lock the phone or lock the screen. That's a better way to say it, lock the screen. Turn the phone off is not, that would be like if I power down, so that wouldn't be right. So if I, let's say, click the phone or turn the home screen off on the phone, then it does not click. It does not make a clicking sound. That means I cannot hear the app. So I'll have to watch the app. And I noticed it just earlier after that Jason's Deli pickup. So it could be going off right now and I can't even hear it. So I have to keep my eye on the app to see if anything comes up. Now, sometimes they do send out text, so we'll see what happens there. So we're being challenged by Apple CarPlay right now. Shortcuts with Robert Altman. It's got neighborhoods that look a little bit like this on a hill, these cool looking type of houses. And it takes place during kind of like an earthquake. It's a great little film. Christmas kind of thing. Nativity. Some of these houses are great. It's like almost going back in time for a minute. It's on like a hillside of Fort Worth, overlooking the golf course. I believe it's called like, I don't know, maybe Ridgely Golf Course or something. It's one of the golf courses off of Vickery. It's kind of some of the houses right here are amazing. Look at this big retainer wall right here. It's huge. 1970s nearly houses. Place is called Bounty Road. I'm thinking probably this way. Look at this old 1970s kind of looking thing. They built them to last though. That one's probably a little more modern, even though it looks older. These square houses right here were real popular in the 70s. Square tops. That's what I delivered at right there. That's very 1970s. A lot of these are. This whole neighborhood must have sprouted up in the 70s. Is my guess on it. That one's 1970s looking. You ever see the movie Ice Storm with Tobey Maguire is in it, and Kevin Kline, Ang Lee film. Ice Storm shows kind of like a lot of these types of houses, or at least some of them. Great film too. Hard film to digest, but it's what it reminds me. Every time I go into a neighborhood, sometimes I'm reminded of a different type of films. Although Ice Storm is set in an icy area, and these neighborhoods rarely get that icy, you know, like snowbound kind of thing. But it does snow in Texas. It does happen. And it does get cold, too. It is an extreme weather state. A lot of people don't even realize that. It goes very, very cold to very, very hot. More hot than cold, but it can get extremely cold in Texas. Looks like they're working on something right here. Lots of construction all the time. This is nearly right there on the golf course. But it's a little bit further down on Vickery. Or in that area. The Vickery area is what they might call it. Suggestion about the sound. So we do know we have some issues with Apple CarPlay, or we have issues with the Bluetooth going through and not connecting right, or maybe connecting in a way where you cannot hear the app, or you can't hear the phone clicking or making, you know how the phone makes noises, like a text message is a noise or a sound. A text message makes a sound, the app makes a sound, all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of sounds that it makes. So what I suggest in a lot of cases, if you're going to be hooked in with USB, so you got the USB cord and you're hooked up with Apple CarPlay, you want to have a stand like right here or connected, so the phone actually goes on the stand kind of like this. You can see the phone going up and down like that, or even to the side or up and down. Or you can invest in a tablet so that you can always see. Now this would be cool eventually in the future if you could see the phone and what the phone is displaying right here, especially if you're working these apps and stuff, because you can get the message on the delivery 2 to 3 different ways. One is through sound, so it'll ring out a certain sound. The second is through text. Sometimes they'll text you. And the third is through sight, so you can see it. You can see it go off, and then you can react to it. So having the phone up here and stuff is ideal. I usually put the phone like right there, so I can sometimes, my preferable, I'm like a cat, I have the side vision, what they call it. It's kind of a hard word. It's when you can see on the sides. Preferable vision, that's what I call it. Preferable vision, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. It's kind of work, you want to have like a good mask. You want to have a really good mask. And then make sure you have all your cards and everything that you would need for place and pay. So, you know.